I made a big mistake. This week should have never been this challenging, but unfortunately, this headache has been with me for almost 6 days and has no sign of quitting. Here is the story of this headache and the big mistake I made last Friday.
I've made a huge mistake.
On Friday, I had an infusion. Infusions I have every 6 weeks for my Crohn's. Typically, I have these infusions in the morning. I usually come home after those infusions, have a lot of water and electrolytes, and have a nap. Now, that is pretty standard, not a huge issue. I usually take it pretty easy the next day and I go about my life. Now, what was different about my infusion this time around is I had an infusion on a Friday, which is not very typical for me. I had an infusion during the afternoon, which I have actually never had. And I also went out after my infusion, which I have never done. I will regret that for a very long time. So I had my infusion. Luke got off work, picked me up from my infusion. My infusion went like normal, nothing really crazy. Thankfully, my veins dealt with my infusion fine. I didn't have any major reactions. Everything was okay. Now, when I say I went out after my infusion, no, didn't go out to the club, have a bunch of drinks, and went out partying on a Friday night. I just went and ran a few errands with Luke. We actually had a wonderful time shooting a video for our second channel, Thrill of the Chase, because it was launch day for a brand new pack of Pokemon cards, a brand new set that released, and we were really looking forward to it. We actually ended up in record time being able to run through the city, hit a few shops, and getting home at a reasonable hour. And so it actually all went well. Things were great Friday. We released our video on Saturday and things were fine. But by Saturday night, I was in a really bad way. I had a nagging headache. I would almost say migraine, but it wasn't quite there. I was kind of right in between headache and migraine, and I was just not feeling well. And so Luke and I kind of went into that kind of emergency mode, really started pumping my water and electrolytes, something that you should always do when you have kind of that headache coming on, or if you're starting to feel symptoms of kind of starting to feel ill or feeling kind of off. You got to start pumping in that water. It's kind of the best thing you can do for yourself, is kind of getting that water intake up. Electrolytes, or even adding a little bit of salt, especially sea salt, into your water is really an absolutely great option, because it helps that water bind with the salt into your system. For someone like me who has Crohn's, even better, your water intake will work even better. So I do a combination of this on Saturday. We ended up having to cancel our plans on Saturday. We were supposed to have friends over.
We're sorry.
Luke even said, he's like, I don't know how we thought we were supposed to have friends over the day after an infusion. And you know what? I was like, okay, Saturday was but we'll move forward and just bleep it. Sunday rolls around and I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm still feeling off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, what is going on? I've had these infusions before where they've nagged me time and time again, where it's taken me a few days to come kind of back to normal. And, with my emergency visit a few weeks back, I'm not kind of shocked that with this being my first infusion since that emergency visit. I'm kind of thinking, okay, is this going to be a few days of this? I'm really kind of thinking of that in the back of my mind. And now, few days into, retrospective, I'm thinking that may be why this infusion has been kind of so hard for me to take. I'm also in the midst of changing medications with my seizures. I've got a new seizure drug on board. So I think there's just a lot going on right now. And so, you know, fast forward a couple days, I am still feeling really, really rough. We unfortunately had to delay a release of a video for the Pokemon channel for the first time since we started that channel. It has been a really, really challenging week this week. I wanted to talk about this video about headaches and just having a challenging week and just kind of remembering the basics, bringing it down to the basics and, you know, remembering you gotta keep that water intake up. You gotta give yourself a little bit of grace. If you're having a challenging week this week, I want you to know you're not alone. We all have these moments in life where things are just not the way we want them to be. And this week for me has definitely been that moment. As much as that emergency week a few weeks back was definitely not what we expected, you know, that week wasn't the hardest week. This week has definitely been emotionally and physically taxing, by far more taxing than that emergency week. I think because I've been stuck in bed. I've been, from a headache perspective, just mentally and physically just unable to just do the basics. Like having a shower, Luke's had to help me. I haven't even been able to make myself a meal or even microwave anything by myself this week. Like just doing those like day-to-day things have been so challenging this week. Honestly, I just can't cope. I'm driving myself a little crazy. And so I've had to take a few deep breaths and just take it a little easy and give myself a little bit of grace. And I've had to order in some meals this week, and that's okay. And we've just had to take it back to the basics, and that's just okay. And it's hard for me to talk about this sometimes, and it's hard for me to accept these facts that some of these weeks they happen. That's why I wanted to do this video. And, you know, I hope you guys take this as a moment to reflect on some of your challenging weeks. And the next time you have one of these weeks, that you bookmark this video and you watch this video on that week and you think to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna give myself some grace. I'm going to order myself some food that I want to eat right now, and I'm just going to eat it and not feel guilty about it. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to take my meds, and I'm going to drink some water, and everything's going to be okay. And yet tomorrow might not be better because, quite frankly, I've had this headache for going on 6 days, and I hope tomorrow is going to be the last. But if it's not, it's okay. And that's just the way it goes. And I'm lucky to have an amazing support system, and the honey behind the camera is absolutely amazing. And I'm lucky to have him and all the support system that I have around me, and all the lovely furry things that I love to cuddle at night are around me. And you know what? I hope next week is better. We've got some wonderful content coming your way over the next couple weeks, and I cannot wait to share them with you. And hopefully the next couple weeks are going to be better. But I just had to share this with you guys this week, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week. And don't forget to slow your roll. If you've enjoyed this video, you might enjoy this one as well. Check it out over here.